Oops. All right, here we go. Welcome to the Lift Heavy Run Long podcast, episode number 60 with Amy Goode and Hailey Thomas. You can find us at www.liftheavyrunlong.com, on Twitter and Instagram at liftrunlong. Also, feel free to email me directly at the address wilson@liftheavyrunlong.com. Please go to our YouTube channel and subscribe there, and also leave us a 5-star review on iTunes. What am I leaving out? It feels like I'm leaving something out.
I don't know. It sounded like you did a pretty good job.
Sound pretty good?
Yeah.
Did I pass? Passing grade?
I think so. You haven't talked about your beautiful wife.
I'm about to talk about my beautiful wife because I love talking about my beautiful wife because it's nice to have a smoking hot wife. And I do have one of those, and she's sitting not directly to my right, but bounced one over, and my smoking hot, highly intelligent, jacked and tan, incredibly talented wife, Dr. Amanda Kimsey Horrell.
In the house.
Hello.
It's good to see you, Amanda.
Good to see you too.
What's new?
Not much.
Nothing?
Nope.
You got some coaching going on.
Yeah, I got some coaching. I worked out today right before this thing, so I just now stopped sweating.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, we got an hour to not sweat because we have air conditioning in here.
Yep.
But it starts to heat up because I have to turn the air conditioning off or else it picks up in the audio. And being that I'm hypersensitive about the audio being of high quality.
I don't think that's hypersensitive, man. I hear it. Last week I was making fun of you because, or the week before last, because you got central air in here, which is great. And I was like, central air doesn't make any noise. And like, that's the dumbest thing. And then you went and turned it off, and I could definitely hear the difference.
So in a roundabout way, you're saying I was right.
I'm paying you a compliment.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. I need that. Need compliments. And we got it on camera.
Oh, edit that out.
So we have Mr. Vaughn Rawls, also known as the Reverend. How you doing,
me.
Rev?
Ah.
I'm doing good, man.
What's new in your world?
What's new? Same old thing, just moving forward.
Tunnel Hill 100 miler?
Thinking about that 100 miler.
You on check?
I don't know what that means, but
all systems go?
I'm going there and I'm going to run.
How was last week? Because you missed last week.
How was last week?
Yeah, what did you do last week since you missed?
What do you mean?
You missed the podcast last week.
Oh, my son Jackson and I got to record a commercial for FedEx.
Nice.
So I work for an ad agency, and I got recruited for a commercial because we do a lot of work with FedEx. And so the guy that does the video, I was just walking down the hall the other day, and he goes, "Hey, how old's your son?" And I said, "Yeah, he's 10. And he said, "Well, you look like you would be good fit for this video we're shooting. You want to do it?" I was like, "Yeah, we would love to do it. My son would love to do it because he's like the biggest ham in the whole wide world." And so we did the commercial. It took us 2 days. And I mean, this is professional stuff, like the real deal, like no joke. The commercial is going to be, the video is going to be played on, we did 4 different commercials. The same commercial for 4 different brands. So it's going to be played at the Memphis Tigers games at the Liberty Bowl.
Oh, wow.
On the Jumbotron.
Nice.
And it's going to be played at the Grizzlies games on the Jumbotron. And it's going to be played at the Washington Redskins games.
Wow.
On the
Get out of
Jumbotron.
here.
National
Yeah, because
commercial.
FedEx is FedEx Field where the Redskins play football.
Aha.
Right. And then we did a generic one that didn't have. So we did 4 we did one that didn't have any brands. So.
And so you're not one of 400 people who are in the run for being on this commercial. You are in this commercial, and it's going to be.
We were in it, but it's only a 15-second commercial. But it's like we were the
Main
thing.
characters.
So the commercial was. We're standing at the door. The FedEx delivery person comes and brings us the box, and me and Jack are excited, and we high five, and then and then another part of it is us ordering something on the computer, like a piece of merchandise or whatever. Then the next day we went to a stadium at Christian Brothers High School, and we filmed us at the event.
Oh, cool.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that's the whole story. Is you get the package, you go to the game, all that kind of stuff.
That's really cool.
But it's a really quick video, but it's,
15 seconds is a long time.
And that's the thing that Jackson was talking about. It's like you learn what goes into it. Like we literally spent 2 days pretty much doing
learning to high five.
The high five him,
15
like I'd knock the box out of his hand, or he would do something, or I would do something, or somebody else would do something, and somebody wasn't standing in the right spot, so they had to move somebody, try it again, then put somebody else in there, and it was just crazy. But it was so much fun.
It probably makes you appreciate movies and commercials
Oh my
and
God.
things like that.
You can't imagine what goes into a movie.
My brother was telling me in regards to the Tunnel Hill documentary, he was a production and broadcast journalism major.
Yeah.
And he was into production in high school, and he said, you have to remember in every scene of every movie, there is an unbelievable amount of decisions made.
Right.
From the colors that everybody's wearing to the lighting to the angle. There is so much thought that goes into every split second of every movie. That
Yeah, but not only that, there's continuity, right? So they may shoot a scene and then shoot a similar scene the next week or the next day, but then that red cup is all of a sudden blue because somebody took it out, and that's not right. You got to fix that because when we shot the first part of this, that was a red cup. Mm-hmm. So we got to make sure that goes back there. This is crazy.
Yep. Speaking of crazy, we got our cameraman, ketogenic Chris Perry, the cameraman, is back there
Ketogenic
making it
Chris.
all come together.
Are you still in keto?
Yes, I'm still ketoing.
Do you pee on the strips? To
I
make
do.
sure?
Actually, I do pee on the
How
strip.
often do you pee on the strip?
Just whenever. I want to.
Whenever I get the feeling.
The urge.
Just whenever you're talking about being ketogenic, you're like, you want to see? I got my strips.
I bring my strips with
Hey,
me.
prove it.
Exactly. No, I do pee on the strip.
I have some of those strips.
Do you really?
They're not turning right now. I think it's due to carbs, maybe, or
There was one time when I
Margaritas.
almost was able to
Margaritas don't turn strips.
Yeah. There was one time I almost made it. It got almost the right color, but just
Now, I've actually
not quite
gotten it,
getting
and it's actually gone to the brightest red that it can go. But I think I was dehydrated too, so that helped a little
was-
bit.
That was blood in your urine. That's what that red color.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Well, we're going to get on to our guest, Amy Goode.
hi.
Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Do you have any idea how hard I tried to get you on the show?
No, not at all.
It was borderline stalking. I told Chris.
That's what she told me.
Don't.
Yeah.
There's a restraining order.
There's probably more to come of this whole story. But I contacted you a number of times, and Chris said that y'all were friends, and I was so excited that it got put together and that
Yes.
y'all were able to come out here and visit with us.
I know. Well, it's kind of a two-person operation, so we're really kind of spread thin. So I'm glad. Thank you for having us, and we're glad to be here.
And thanks for the directions. So, appreciate
My
that.
direction giving is not good. That is one of the many areas I can stand to improve in. Living out here in Hailey, Mississippi, the landmarks can be a little bit different than cruising around like, say, Midtown Memphis or something.
Right.
I've been coming out here for a couple of years. I grew up right across the railroad tracks, and I still get lost. I not get lost, but I still is this the right driveway?
Yeah.
Like I try to turn like a driveway before.
Well, I mean, if Google Maps can't find it, there's a problem.
That's right. The problem is Google Maps.
Right.
Not me. It's Google Maps.
Like,
Well, let's talk about your health and fitness magazine.
yay! I'm glad
Hold
to.
that up for the
Hold
camera.
that up. Yeah, look. There you
There
go.
we go.
How did this come about?
Well, not to age myself, but a little more than 20 years ago. My dad and I were, weekend warriors doing 5Ks and triathlons, sprint triathlons, and I was selling advertising. And, we'd go to the store and pick up national magazines, and it's like you'd see professional models or professional athletes talk about their fitness routines, and it just didn't resonate with us, and it was like, wouldn't it be great to have a local resource guide that shows real people with real jobs trying to balance family and fitness and be healthy, and it's not just some supermodel that eats a cracker a day and is fine. And that's kind of how it was born. And it was a big struggle in Memphis bringing health and fitness.
It's been a challenge.
Yes.
We like to use the word challenge.
As opposed to struggle?
Yes.
As opposed to a big pain in the butt?
Right. Yeah. Like, so
So-
you're a gym, you're not in the magazine. They don't see the connection sometimes.
What a great story.
Yeah. So we started health and fitness, and we, started profiling just everyday women with children that were running 5Ks, or a man that maybe got off his diabetes medicine from running, and it was like, hey, this is the guy I go to church with, or my child's on, our children play soccer together. It made it more personal, like, hey, this was within reach for Memphians. It's not just some supermodel or professional athlete on the cover of Men's Health or Shape or People that, has a trainer and a nutritionist.
That's not much unlike the direction that Lift Heavy Run Long is going and has gone with our guests. A lot of our guests are, we're interested in just active people.
Yeah.
And people who believe in having an active lifestyle. And I believe that everybody has a story. Everybody's fascinating. Everybody has a great story. And getting to that story sometimes can be a little bit more challenging. But I just have an interest in people who do neat things. And it's hard to balance family, and it's hard to balance fitness and all those things in your life. And if you're capable of doing that on any level, then you have a story to tell.
Absolutely.
And like you said, I've found that people connect easier with the more
Average.
everyday, not run of the mill, but to some extent run of the mill people who are out there trying to get it done.
And I think people think, oh, you have health and fitness, you're not a bodybuilder. You if I'm going into a fast food place, they're like, hey, you own health and fitness. What are you doing here? But like, I'm just an average person, trying to be fit, a mother, a business owner, just trying to do it all too. So I'm not perfect. I struggle with diet, and I'm exposed to it every day. I get articles every day on fitness, and I even have a problem with nutrition and keeping it, juggling it all. So
That's got to be pretty difficult from that end of things to feel like that, people look at you in this way, and you have
Yes.
expected behavior that you have to follow. And how do you
Right.
manage that?
It's tough. I mean, I'm trying to, but I want to show like, hey, I'm a regular woman. I'm a mother and a business owner, and I eat bad and I eat well, and I try the races, and I, don't. Sometimes I PR and sometimes I don't finish, and I'm just like the next person. And I think people do relate to us because we are average, and so when they meet me, they go, oh, they like the magazine even more because I am just like them.
Yeah, that's
You know?
that's the sweet spot. Like there are plenty of people that are on a high level where you're like, man, that dude is insane. I'll never be like that guy.
Right.
And so that guy's never going to really speak to me. I mean, I'll be impressed by everything that person does, but really tomorrow I'm not going to go out and be like that guy.
Right.
But there's that person that is that one level above you or 2 to 3 levels above you that you're like, wow,
right.
that person did this. I can totally do that too, And so that's where
exactly.
people are drawn to, I think, more so than the celebrity type person where you're like, oh, I'm not going to be Michael Phelps,
yeah.
right? Like that
That's
level
never
is
going
not
to be
going
me.
to work.
I have to work. I have a mortgage.
Right. But here's this lady who's got, kids, and she's just a regular person. And look what she's doing. I could totally do that, So I think that resonates with more people.
I hope so. And
And,
it's been so exciting to see Memphis change and the Mid-South, Mississippi too. I mean, 21 years ago, there wasn't a bike lane. People would scream at you.
Right.
We'd go to sell ads to a treadmill place, and he would be smoking cigarettes. I mean, it was just completely a different world. And now, there's grants for fitness. We're the fastest growing bike lane community, I think, around. Memphis has been
Well,
the
we came in
fastest growing.
last, and then now we're like second nationally.
Really?
Nice.
growing
Memphis
bicycle
as a
lanes,
whole-
yeah.
Oh, wow.
And we do.
Second nationally. Why does
Yeah.
it?
Well-
I feel like I should know that.
I know.
Why didn't Memphis blow? Aren't they telling them that?
Yeah, well, I guess I don't pay attention to really what anybody has to say about anything, so
Yeah.
I wouldn't know. But that's a pretty interesting stat.
Yeah, and people don't realize that Memphis is so. We have the outdoors at our fingertips. I mean, to have Shelby Farms, any place to go mountain biking or run trails, in most major cities, you'd have to go an hour outside of town. That's right centrally located. We have mild weather. I think we do have one of the largest running communities.
We have one of the largest running communities, and it was said because we don't have the mountains to climb, or you can't go to the beach and surf, so people run. They run, and it's like constant run. It's amazing to see the changes, like Amy was saying, because I used to think I was the only one out there running, and now everybody runs marathons and half marathons, especially women have really kind of taken over the half marathon field, I guess, and
Well, we don't have
I'm
mountains,
50.
but we have really nice trails to run.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, when you think about it, like, there's 3-4 really nice trail systems that you could go run
Absolutely.
anytime you want.
Shelby Forest
And-
has all the mountains.
And
I
Shelby
need.
Yeah.
Forest,
Yeah.
and
That's
what
a
I was
mountain
gonna
to
say,
me.
like,
Yeah.
if you want to go train for a
Truth.
if you want to go train for a 30-mile race in the Ozark Mountains, Shelby Forest is a great place to go do that.
And it's 20
yeah.
minutes from Midtown Memphis,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you're out in DeSoto County. Have you?
Yes,
you've grown to
we
expand to DeSoto County, which at one point, I'm sure when the magazine started, you had a better chance of being run over by a horse than a car when you came out to Olive Branch.
That's right.
And to see this has been one of the fastest growing cities in the country,
Yes.
if I'm not exaggerating that.
No,
which-
you're not. In fact, I thought Olive Branch was one of the top retirement communities.
DeSoto County as a whole is actually the fastest growing county in the state of Mississippi. At one time, there was actually an average of 5 families a day moving into DeSoto County.
Wow.
I thought at one point in time it was the fastest growing city in the country.
In the country, yes, at
I
one
think
time.
in,
I don't
what,
think it is
2012
now.
or 13, I think is when
That's
that
what you're
was.
supposed to do, Chris, is sit there and tell us.
I'm your fact checker.
Fact.
I'm Googling it now.
yeah, yeah, that's a producer.
But it's interesting because I think, women come up to Hailey and me and ask us, like we're doctors.
about their
or-
injuries.
Or something
I
like
don't know. Yeah, take
And
two.
we're
I'll
just
be fine.
like, I'm just like you. This is kind of works for me, and this is what we've heard. And I feel like we do have so much information at our fingertips, and like, well, some people say this, and so we're kind of confused and discombobulated what's right. But it's fun to feel like we're helping people.
Yeah. I usually tell them just buy new running shoes, take 2 ibuprofen, and call me in the morning.
Well, I think there's something to be said for that, and it shows that people are looking for connection.
Yeah.
People want to be involved. They want community, and they're not necessarily looking for your advice to save their life. They want a reason to reach out and talk to you.
Absolutely.
And I get emails from people through Lift Heavy Run Long that are asking me or us about different fitness things, and I see it more as nobody's really wanting my advice on fitness if they know me. But they're making a connection.
Yeah.
And it's a
yeah.
good way to build a relationship and get involved.
Yeah. And it's our passion. I love, getting the information out to people and being a part of it and trying new things and changing it up. And it's been great.
Well, it's for lack of a better term, it's a pretty, I guess, gutsy move to have started that. What did that look like when you're running a 5K and you think, Dad, tomorrow let's start a magazine?
It was tough the first 5 years.
Had to have been.
And, people not understanding, and this isn't the demo. It's taken a lot of people to relate to like the lifestyle and selling ads. Like, you meet with people because we're free. So we're supported on advertising. So that's how we keep the information out there. And people go, well, they buy what they think they are. So even the marketing person, they go, well, I'll never be her, so that's not our market. But it's like, yes, that is people that, want to be healthy and are health conscious. They're not already there, so they're not doing it. They're still reaching for those health goals. So even if you're not healthy, maybe your customer is. Just because you listen to country radio station doesn't mean your customer listens to, country radio station. So, people would be in charge of a gym and not work out. They don't know why they should advertise to workout people. They'd want to advertise on the hunting and fishing because that's what they liked. So that was the first 5 years.
Well, also in the first maybe 10 years, to show how much everything's changed, is we had a guy doing a yoga pose on the cover.
Right.
And he meditated and he did yoga and, was sitting in the lotus position. And a lot of people thought it was
anti-religious.
Anti-religious.
Are you kidding me?
No, they thought, yoga doesn't have anything to do with any religion. It's like sort of like exercise, but flexibility and
be posing like that in the South.
That's right. And it was like it's anti-Christian.
And we had a bodybuilder
that
pregnant
girl's up
lady
to something sitting
on
like
the
that.
cover who was just
Oh, boy.
built with the big pregnant belly. And I mean, people were like, she should go to jail. She's,
my God.
harming
That shouldn't be
babies.
shown. And
Get that girl in the kitchen.
Yeah.
She shouldn't be on the cover of the magazine.
Please make me a
Right.
sandwich.
Jacked up like that.
Right.
Taking better care of herself. How
Well, it's
dare
really
her?
interesting. Like
She's going to become liberated.
Exactly.
I think you're one of the very few successful print magazines.
Yeah.
And that's got to be really hard to do that. Like maybe I'll pick up a Memphis Dateline, right? So I'm thinking in my head,
what's that?
Memphis.
You mean Memphis Flyer?
What's a
Dateline.
Dateline?
I'm sorry.
RSVP.
Okay. I was like,
My best
I
friend's
haven't
dad.
seen that one. Go
My
get it.
best friend's dad used to own a company called Memphis Dateline.
Ah.
Okay.
And
48
that's why I
hours.
said that.
Yeah.
Memphis Flyer.
Okay.
I sometimes
Yeah.
might pick up a flyer.
Yeah.
Rarely do. Always pick up health and
Thank
fitness.
you.
Thank you.
I think it's because of what you're talking about. Like I might know that person.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know
right.
what I mean? It's like, oh, I want to see. And if I don't know that person, I want to figure out who that person is because I know that person lives in Memphis. Like one
Right.
time you did a guy that was at my gym and that was cool because
Yeah.
I work out with that guy.
And I think
know what I
that's
mean?
why we have, everybody says everything's print's going under. And I think that's why
Right.
we're not. We're a niche publication and it's at a local thing. I mean, we're different from Shape because you may know her, your kids play soccer together, she
Right.
may go to your church, she may work out at your gym. So it keeps the local, if we just did national articles, it wouldn't work. It's that
Right.
it's Mid-South people,
Yeah.
So
But you couldn't have seen all this when you set out. I mean, has this just
No.
sort of taken its own shape and
Well-
chiseled its own face?
I know it's, a cliche, but like if you do what your passion is, it'll work. And, our passion was health and fitness. Even though I don't win the 5Ks, I don't win the triathlons, I don't win the marathon, I still want to do them and be a part of them and be healthy and fit. And I think when you live that, it's just going to happen, it's just going to work. So I've been lucky that's happened. And, Hailey's been with me 20 years too. And she's a big runner and fitness person too. So
Yeah. Well, one thing I've noticed also, it
You've
helped.
been in from the beginning?
yeah.
Almost,
pretty much.
almost, yeah. And then Amy took a little hiatus to Hawaii. I don't know if she told you that. So it was, I was working with her dad for about 5 years, and that was interesting.
You got to know her
Oh,
dad.
well, yeah. Chris knows. But it's really helped that, like, the whole country is, like, on this fitness kick. I mean, seems like we're getting fatter and fatter, but then we're also, part of us are getting fitter and fitter at the same time. So that's just really helped us so much because so many people are into it now. And there's so many more ways than just go out and run. There's cardio bars and pure bars and yogas and CrossFit and
It's definitely been interesting to see the fitness trends. When we first started, it was, low fat, low fat, low fat. Then it was
Yeah.
low carb,
Low carb.
Don't eat about, then it was paleo.
Yeah.
Then, now everybody's got a gluten sensitivity. Then it's the fitness boutiques. And, it's just been
Amen.
like,
Yeah.
wow,
Yeah.
So it's been really funny to watch the fitness trends.
I think it's sort of helped with retail too, because so many of like boutique clothing stores are closing because they can't really compete with online. And now it's, like I said, there's a bar class and, every shopping center and Pilates
And a CrossFit.
and a
Yep.
CrossFit
Everywhere.
and little gyms and big gyms popping up everywhere. And there's so many more choices that surely there is something you could find to love, some fitness thing that you could like to do.
And if nothing else, you can pick one and hate it.
Right.
Because
Right.
people generally they find one to hate. That's for sure.
Yeah.
You can't like all of them. Seems to be a rule. Do you think that fitness is at its peak, as high as it's been since you've been
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
since you had the magazine?
Absolutely. I mean, I think people, I see, I go to several different gyms all the time. It's shocking to still see newbies, that don't know how to work a treadmill and ask, what do I do with this? But yes, I mean, people are all doing all kinds of things. I mean, there's 3 CrossFit gyms in my neighborhood. There's 3 gyms within walking distance, fitness boutiques, yoga. I mean, yes, it's at the peak. People want to do all different things, try different things. Tough Mudders, Ragnars, marathons. I mean, it's just gone crazy, and it's a business. I mean, these races make money. These
Big
companies come in, and I mean, at Ragnar, I was like, I did Ragnar Chicago Chattanooga a few years ago, and I was like,
I'm from
this is
Chattanooga.
a business. I mean, they have a staff, and I did Chicago Marathon last year. It's a business. These people are in it to make money.
And it's not going south.
No.
It's just
No.
getting bigger,
Yeah.
and they're
Yeah.
making television shows and
And like we pay
Everything.
for this.
yeah.
I talked about it last week while
They should
Vaughn
pay
was,
us to run.
while Vaughn was making television shows or making commercials for television. The documentary, The Rise of the Sufferfests, is a really interesting documentary about the first tough guys, what it was called,
Uh-huh.
the first kind of tough mudder.
Oh, I thought you said suffragette, but that's not what you said.
Sufferfest.
Okay.
Sufferfest.
It's on Netflix?
I can't remember if I got it off Netflix or Amazon,
Okay.
but it's out there.
Okay.
And it's, it goes into why people do this, why
Uh-huh.
people want to work a 40-hour week, why lawyers and doctors, as well as, janitors and landscapers and, just different people, what the psyche is and what they take from it, and the different kinds and the different kinds of obstacle races. And it's really a pretty fascinating deal.
I want to see it.
I want to do one.
Does the peak of fitness, does the amount of people into fitness right now, does that equivocate into
Ad dollars.
yes?
I hope so. I think that more people I meet with in marketing are into fitness. Used to I'd meet with a doctor's office and the person wouldn't know anything about running or fitness. Now that person gets it. They're into running.
Or they may be in the magazine.
they're in the
they might be
magazine
the
or
Weekend
crossing
Warrior
it.
next month. We noticed too a lot of really professional people end up being our Weekend Warriors. Like it's not people that have a lot of time on their hands. These people are super busy. Like the lady that's the trauma surgeon at the Met. She was a Weekend Warrior. I mean, she's pretty busy, but somehow she can find time to be a triathlete and all the hours it takes to do a
It
multi-sport.
seems like it fits with that personality.
Yeah.
That type A
Yeah.
kind of goes along with major training.
Most of the people, especially in the ultra marathon running world, you can put together a highly successful business person and
Yeah.
100-miler.
Right.
Guy that
Yeah.
wins the 100-mile race.
Uh-huh.
And that's
They're-
what we try to connect.
Yeah.
Is that people think, oh, we want to advertise to money people. We should be in a party magazine or this, that, and the other. And I'm like, really, the fitness people
Have the money.
have the disposable income. Have
Look
you
at the
Yeah.
parking lot at the
Yeah.
races, and the triathlon.
Have
Well,
you
yeah. I mean, these
priced
guys
a
are riding
bicycle?
bikes that cost $5,000.
Yeah.
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 You know.
Yeah. So,
I watch a lot of documentaries.
yeah.
I watched another documentary about the New York City Marathon
Uh-huh.
and how that went on right after, was it September 11th? There's some really, the decision was, do we continue, or maybe it was a
Well, it was
storm.
Boston?
There was a storm.
The-
The Sandy
there was a-
storm.
that's
Sandy.
it.
Yeah.
There was a storm that came through and they had to decide whether to cancel it or
Yeah.
let
They
it go.
canceled it, didn't they?
They decided to make it happen.
Okay.
And so as people were gathering, it was making a real problem. And I think that they didn't wind up running.
Yeah, I was
Correct.
thinking
they
they
did
did.
cancel at the last moment, but a big group of people went and ran it anyway.
That's right.
Yeah.
People ran it anyway,
Okay.
kind of
Oh,
just got
nice.
together and said, we're going to do it. And the people in the community were not appreciative because they had generators that could have been used to help the victims. You know, they had all this
Oh.
money going to it. And before they felt like, you know, the people love us runners, like they think we're great. And it came out that the average marathon person made 6 figures. So it was kind of like,
So you
all
got
right,
all
these
these guys, these rich people out here inconveniencing all the victims.
stepping
Yeah,
over
right.
dead bodies of people
Right.
that, you know, can use all of these resources.
Right.
And y'all think it's more important to be out here running in short shorts. And I can certainly see both sides to
Well,
that.
I mean, if I've done a couple of 20 milers,
I know.
I kind of want to go and do it.
Well, like St. Jude got canceled that year.
It's
You
so-
know,
yeah,
And
it's
it was so
so
sad for
crazy,
everybody
and
that trained so hard.
Yeah, that year I felt I'm on the fence about the New York thing, but you understand.
Let me make it clear. I am as tightly bound to that fence as I could
Yeah,
possibly be. I don't
mean-
have an opinion over which way it should have
Right.
gone.
But I will tell you that I know what it's like to put all your effort into training for a marathon, for your very first
Yes.
marathon, and then you show up and it's never been canceled for me, but I can only imagine
Oh, I know.
that I
Gotta
show
be.
up for my marathon and it's canceled.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
You know,
tell me
I'm-
how much you know what it's like to find out your mom's house has been demolished and doesn't have any power, and a
I
bunch of douchebags are
understand.
going to come in and
That-
prance around
Yeah.
Yeah.
neighborhood. So I can see both
Yeah.
sides of that.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm gonna try to help my mom get some power. Is what I'm gonna do, and that dude's gonna go run his marathon. I don't.
Well,
I mean, I'm not.
I'm gonna
arguing
stay out
for
of
or
this.
against. I'm just
I'm not
saying.
going to say anything.
I haven't even seen the documentary, so I don't even know what you're talking about. I'm just saying, people put a lot of time and effort, and they care about their marathon.
well, I'm running New York this year on a
Are you
lighter
really?
note, yes.
Do you have to qualify for that?
No, I wouldn't have gotten in if I had to qualify.
It's a lottery system.
I wouldn't qualify for a fun run if they made you
I know.
do that at any level.
Yeah, I would qualify for a color run.
So how did that come about?
Well, I mean, you know, I actually went, they had a documentary for the Boston Marathon, the history of the Boston Marathon at the Paradiso. I don't know if y'all have seen it or heard about it. It was so inspiring. It was the start of it, you know, the first marathon here in America, and it talked about how they ran it, their nutrition, showed their shoes. I mean, it was very interesting. So I was geared up and I went home and I'm like, I'm, you know, going to put myself in the lottery. Well, of course, no one gets in on their first try for the New York Marathon. I mean, I've heard people try 5 times, you know, and I kind of forget about it. You know, maybe I had a glass of wine while I was signing out.
Yeah.
Didn't think anything about it. Came and got, and I forgot to check whether I even got in. And then about a month later, I'm going, gosh, I'm getting all these congratulations training, and I'm thinking, oh, it's just spam or something. And I happened to just look one of them, and it said, now you're 15 weeks out. Are you training? And I thought, what? And I went back and ran, and it said, congratulations, you've been accepted. I go, who
Wow.
gets accepted their first go around?
That's awesome.
So now I'm, you know, way behind on training. So I'm like, should I defer? Should I not defer? So now I'm trying to catch up on the miles. I should be at like 15.
Sending them nasty emails
Gotta
like,
go
why in the
run.
world would you accept me?
Yes, I'm so
What's
slow.
wrong with you
But I
people?
realized they probably have all these fast people that want to do it, and that corral's probably so full. So they're letting like slow people like me in. Like, oh, let's give the 440 people. Let's give a few of that. You know, it's pity. It's pity they let me in.
Well, I did
So-
it 20 years
440
ago.
is not slow nor pitiful.
I was gonna say,
We can talk pitiful, but it's not going to be 440 pitiful.
Well, I will tell you, New York Marathon is like one of the best. I'm telling Amy, I did it 20 years ago in 1997, right? 20 years, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And we had to be over there on this island. I can't remember which one.
It's Staten
Oh,
Island.
is it Staten Island? Okay, that one. Like at 5 in the morning, and we didn't run till 10 a.m. So I would say
my.
take
Huh.
books, take a sleeping bag, take blankets.
And it's another business. I'm like, they're saying, oh, don't bring anything. It's like a grocery store. You don't pay for anything.
Yeah.
You get everything.
There's lots of food, and it's like the greatest city to probably run in because of the crowd support.
I hope you're right.
Oh yeah, everybody high fives you. You feel like an NBA player, or
nice.
it's good.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
So November 5th. And then the next weekend, I don't know how I figured I'm doing Ragnar Miami.
Oh, wow.
Cool.
That's
As
one.
an-
That's one of the ones I want to do. Right
Yeah.
in Miami.
And we can't get
That's
along
the road. That's on the road.
It's on the road.
Yeah.
And we can't get along with 12 people. So I'm only doing the 6-person team. We did that for Chattanooga, and it was
When you say
rough.
you can't get along, you like can't
Well, I
can't
mean,
find 12 people. That's a lot of people to jive with. For,
it's 2 vans, and I'm sleep deprived, and I just don't like 12 women enough.
yeah,
There's about 6 women I can get along
Uh-huh.
with
yeah.
for 24 hours running 200 miles. So
Yep.
we're going to all run 30, and hopefully.
I'm sitting on the couch with all the women that I can get along with, and I just met y'all two. So Amanda makes one.
Yeah. A woman
So I
with no lip
understand.
gloss and sleep deprived is no woman you really want to be around, okay? It's only about 6,
Yeah.
so we'll see. But Chattanooga was, it was a learning experience. I thought, I'll take all the downhills. I'll take this route. It's got 8 miles of downhill Lookout Mountain. Well, that was worse. 8 miles
You ran
down.
down Lookout
Oh,
Mountain.
that sounds
Yes.
horrible. That
8
sounds horrible.
miles, and it was like my hips.
How's your hips and knees?
I mean, we were, and we didn't fuel. All these real runners were fueling correctly with fat. We're like on Cheez-Its and Rice Krispie treats and Hammy a Snickers, and I mean, our nutrition was terrible. We're all bonking, and there was roadkill everywhere. Like, isn't there somebody cleaning this up as we run by? I don't know.
I
So-
totally love your style.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I completely love your style. I like having the marathon on the 5th. I like having the Ragnar on the 11th. I like the
I'm sponsored by Snickers and Rice Krispies.
I like the lack of nutrition plan. I think
Yeah.
that's
I think
awesome.
the 11th is our 50 miler, so we can be thinking about her running while we're running.
Where are
Yeah.
y'all running?
Tunnel
We're
Hill.
Tunnel Hill.
Where is
He's
that?
doing the 100 miler.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
It's
we may
in
look like idiots,
Vienna,
but that guy over
Illinois.
there, he's doing 100
Plenty
of
of
them.
Snickers and Rice Krispies.
Snickers and Rice Krispies. That's all he's allowed to eat.
it's just
sponsored
a
food.
different level that I can't comprehend. The 100-miler guys.
Yep.
Yeah, me too.
I remember when I was going to Chicago and I was all freaked out, like how many long, and I'm talking to this guy who's a big 100-miler, and I'm going, and then I don't know when I should taper and this and that, and he's just like blank face, and then he kind of goes, it's just 26 miles, just run it. Easy for you to say.
I like that guy.
It's like his training run,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a Saturday morning.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but I think you have to do that stuff in waves, because you'll just stay inflamed. Like I did speed work today, and I was kind of beating myself up, like, I haven't done this in a while, and I'm slower and this sort of thing. But I think your body, people think they can maintain this level of racing all the time. And I think people have to understand, like, give yourself a break. Go in, do the long runs, train for something, then back way off, maybe not run for a couple of months. Your body can't maintain race pace, race season all the time. Back off the track for a few months. If you're not doing 5Ks, switch over to long runs, switch over to strength training for a while, give cardio a break. I mean, Hailey has attested to that. I mean, she's kind of switches it up every 8 weeks and is doing a lot of weight training and not so much
Loving
cardio.
it. Hate cardio right now, but love weightlifting.
But do you cycle through? Do you just get tired of one and focus on the other?
Well, sorry. I had an injury, a toe injury, and so I had to take a break. And don't look at my toes, Vaughn. I know. Okay, it's going to be like that forever. But so I got into lifting weights.
So I try to go heavy, and then I'll do more cardio, and then do light weights, and then maybe I'll do a lot of speed work. I'm trying to switch it up that way. But I've been reading this book, Primal Endurance. Do y'all know this book?
Who wrote that book?
I don't know. Chris, Google it.
Chris?
I don't know. This guy that I saw him at the track all the time. I mean, just fast, cut. And he says, I do this Primal Endurance. And so I got the book. He actually gave it to me as a gift, and I've been reading it, and it's about all being fat adapted and getting off. And I think I'm a testament to this. I'm like, I've done 1 million dips. My triceps don't change, I've run 1,000 miles. I can't lose a pound, And I think diet is such a huge component. You know, we think, oh, we can run 20 miles, I can eat whatever. Well, no. So this whole thing is about becoming fat adapted and getting off the sugar and the carbs, not so much as paleo and that sort of thing, but really, you know, not doing the gels when you're running. Eat a sweet potato, eat some nuts. That's what your body feels from. I'm a quick sugar. I mean, I'm an addict of it. You know, give me quick sugar, quick caffeine, you know. I think runners probably have the worst diet ever. You know?
Most of them, yeah.
They're the biggest drinkers.
True.
I actually had a friend that his dad, he ran all the time. He did like 15 to 20 marathons. And
Wow.
got killed over from a heart attack just because he had wet crack.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, there's cardiovascular health and there's aerobic health, you know, and I think runners and, you know, cardio bunnies get that confused.
Cardio bunny.
I mean, you know, it doesn't matter if it's cycling or whatever. And so, but anyway, that's in 2018, I'm really going to get this nutrition underway, you know?
There you go.
Well, I'm in a pretty comfortable place with where I am as far as I'm not a racer. You know, I say I'm an eventer. You know, I enjoy the events. I enjoy long days. I enjoy doing things that, you know, will
Tax your body.
completely annihilate me and allow
Yeah.
me to just come home and lay on the couch and do nothing.
Right.
And I enjoy all those things with a group of people. And so I'm in constant recruitment mode. I'm constantly trying to get people to sign up to things and do things with me.
Oh, well,
And-
call me. I'll sign up for anything.
Well, and I want much of what you're doing with your magazine is I want people to understand that the vision that they have of what everybody looks like at these races is not what everybody looks like at these races.
Absolutely.
You know, the 1%, the 2%, or the 5% of the people that are winning these things and in the top 5, they are their own thing.
It's a little
and the
1%.
rest of the people is somewhere,
In the
you know,
middle.
between me and somebody else.
And you know what? I think that's something we've seen change. A lot of when we started the magazine, a lot of the running stores and bike stores, they all marketed it to this 1%. And then they realized we won't stay in business. We got to get the average soccer mom or we're not going to. And, you know, now, and that's why I love a triathlon. Those women, I mean, it's all ages
There's a
and all
range.
sizes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
There's
know?
a range.
Yeah.
And you think, oh, that girl's 200 pounds. Well, she'll fly by you on the bike.
Nail you, for
Yes.
sure.
Oh, yeah.
And you're going 90 to nothing, and it's like you're standing still, you know. So it's not all about a skinny mini. You know, it's endurance and training and putting the time in.
Yep. You want to look like a fool, sit at the starting line and pick them out. That person's, you know, that person's a 12-minute mile. That person's an 8-minute mile. That person's
Yeah.
7 minute. And it'll blow your mind. You just cannot tell by looking at somebody how fast they
That's
are.
true. We do a booth at the Memphis Marathon every year about mile 9. And so we're out there, and it's like the only time I get to see the front runners because I'm usually in the race and the way back. And so seeing those first few guys, you go, really? They're not like the Kenyans.
Yeah.
It's like a guy that's maybe even a little punchy, but
Yeah.
he is just hauling butt, you know? So
Well, I wonder at what point the marketing people looked at that and said, you know what, I think that the 99% is figuring out that no matter what they do, they're not going to look like the 1%.
right.
So we might as well, the gig's up. You know,
Yeah.
that may have ridden as long as it could ride because media, you know, is hitting such a boom to where you can reach so many people. At this point, you know the truth. Like, I'm not going to look like somebody, you
Right.
know, a Kenyan. I'm not
But
going to do that.
Everybody wants the lifestyle, and I think that's what we're selling is the lifestyle. And if you look at condo sales where they show a kayaker or a bank that's fly fishing, we don't really do that every day, but we want to think we do.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the whole purpose of a Weekend Warrior. That's why you go out and do a Tough Mudder, or, you know, because we feel that way for a minute. And that's why, you know, the lifestyle is such a huge selling point. You know?
And you kind of wonder, like after this past weekend with the CrossFit Games and everything, how many people went out and joined the gym?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
You
it
know,
happens.
You know,
Yeah, hopefully
you
a
know,
lot.
Yeah, it's just
You know, and got to see that CrossFit is not the people at the games.
no.
You know, there's a place for that, but it's not that.
Exactly.
That it's going to be a bunch of people that look like they have jobs and that they have kids and that they have other things to do other than, just their life revolving around, how hard are you really willing to work for that in the first place? Not necessarily how hard are you really willing to work for it, but how much are you willing to place that as a priority when you have so many other good things to place as a priority?
Right.
I mean, fitness is a priority for me.
Right.
I need to be fit. I want to be fit, but spending time with Amanda is also a priority for me. Raising my children, our children, and doing things with them is also a priority for me.
Yeah.
And, that priority sometimes involves eating ice cream with our daughter and, being real people.
Right.
So, I mean, it's how far do you want to take that? How far do you want to go to make that do you really want your legacy to be your 5K time?
No.
Is that all you got?
It's all about balance. And that's, I have a trainer and I was talking to her today about, do I need to do tempo and this and that? And she had to bring me back to reality. And she was like, you're not going to win the New York Marathon. You're not going to be sponsors.
Yeah.
So if you stop and take some pictures or you walk, who cares?
Yeah.
But I was really impressed at how many Memphis CrossFitters were at the games and did well.
Oh, yeah.
Don't we have a guy that's like 7th in the world or something from Memphis?
So Gus is a coach at our gym.
Uh-huh.
Gus
Olive Branch.
Vandervoort.
And
yeah.
And he was competing in the Masters division 55 to 59.
Mhm.
And I think at one point he was in 6th. I think he ended up
He got up to 4th, I think.
got up to 4th, and I think he in the end was 12th.
12th.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
He
that's
actually
Wow.
won it. He placed first in an event.
Yeah.
yeah, and that's a huge deal. So
I mean-
yeah, congrats to him.
He's already back
Awesome
training
job, Gus.
again.
There's a CrossFit gym right by my house, and I sit at the light and watch them, and I'm just, it's all glass. I'm just like, my God. It just looks torturous. They do something, and then they run out the door and run a quarter mile, and then they come back, and then they're doing the rower, and then I see them drop the weights. I'm just like, they pay for this?
You'd love it. Everybody that does it loves it.
And that's how I trained for a 100-mile race.
Yeah.
Gus Vandervoort was on the podcast and telling us about he had a heart attack years ago. He couldn't do a pull-up. He couldn't do a push-up. He was out of shape and sloppy. I mean, those were this is him describing him, not me describing him. And, just turned it all around. And he said he wanted to use the games as a platform. He wanted to make it to the games to use as a platform to show people that, it's not too late.
Wow, that's awesome.
You can whip it back into shape.
Yeah, you need to put him on the cover. of that
I
magazine.
know. We got to get in
Yeah.
touch with him.
Yeah.
And it's like you see all these kind of men with kids wanting to do the Ninja Warrior. I mean, it's just all kind of, people used to think, it was funny, like, I'm old and have kids. I just don't do anything anymore. And like, that's just not cool anymore.
You're exactly right. Yeah. I used to hear people like 40 years old to me was so old.
I know.
Like that was when you're kind of done. Like you really don't have to, don't have, after you eat turkey on Thanksgiving, you're not really, you can bow out of going outside and throw the football.
Yeah.
Now it's like, get up.
Yeah.
Like you
now,
got to do something. You got a lot of years before you can play that card.
right. And now if you look in the age group, the 40 to 45, you better look out.
We were
Yeah,
just
we've-
talking
Yeah.
about
We've
Yeah.
always
Because
had
It's
that.
so
those
competitive.
guys, they're competitive. They put in the time. Like the 25-year-old, they can go out and run it. But the 40-year-old, they're not doing it hungover. They've put in the time.
right.
You
Well,
know,
not always anyway.
They've trained. So,
Or at least they're smart enough to have a few drinks before they run it. the
Right.
next day.
Yeah. My age group has been, and I'm in that age group, and it's been
hard.
hard for ever since I started. Like it started at 30 to 35, and it was
Uh-huh.
the same guys that are in
Yeah.
their 40 to 45 now.
Yeah, that whole
and
group
these
is-
guys are just. I mean,
I feel bad for you, Wilson. Your group is just
you can't.
hard
I mean,
to,
you're not winning. Like, and it got to the point where I was like, oh, I knew when this guy is going to show up that there's no way that I'm
Yeah.
going to get any hardware today
Right.
because.
Well, that's why I love a triathlon because they put the age on the leg, so it's like you.
Oh,
see
they do?
Yes. So you see the woman, and
Yeah.
I'm like,
But not your
She-
weight, just the age.
Yeah, just
okay.
If she's in my age group, I'm going
190
to pass.
pounds.
You know, I'm going to
Yeah.
do it. But, she's 65. Oh, well, just let her go.
Should we plug our race while we're
You
here?
should.
Absolutely. Plug anything that you can.
Go ahead.
Well, we have a 5K we put on Broad Avenue.
All
When you
right.
say we,
Health and
Health
Fitness,
and
Fitness
Fitness
Magazine
Magazine is putting on
third annual.
third annual Broad Avenue 5K, benefiting the Church Health Center. So we want to, we want to give back, and this is one of the things. And we have other things in the works, but this is our one thing a year that we really put some time and energy into. It's our 5K, and I know there's a ton, but we try to have a really fun one. It's a Friday night.
Post race party at Wiseacre
right.
Brewery if you
All
like
right.
beer.
Friday night. That's
I mean,
nice.
twist
Yeah.
your arm with a beer. I know. Well, we always, those Saturday morning races.
We don't
like,
wanna get up that early.
How many times do I have to get up and have it?
No, I would.
Many times do I-
I would probably oversleep, so
Yeah.
we had to make it at night for me. So
Friday night.
That's a good call.
I mean, how many Saturdays do you
Yeah,
get up and
that's
train?
great. Uh-huh.
So,
and it's the week before Cooper Young, so it's a good way to get practice miles in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
so that's September 8th, and it's like the cheapest race in town, $25,
Yeah.
and we have the best shirt. We do like I see people wearing it all the time because that's another thing. All these race shirts are like these big cotton tees
Yeah.
that no woman
No,
wants to wear other
right.
than mow the lawn or sleep in.
Yeah.
So we made a cute shirt that you will want to wear that's like thin.
Is it going to be the real fitted ones this year, or
No, we did the
because
gender
order a size
specific.
up, everybody, if it is, or two sizes.
Yeah, we did gender specific in the past, but now they're just going to be the unisex, canvasy,
There you go.
tri-blend.
Yes.
They're great.
Okay. Awesome.
So come out September 8th, 7 p.m. And please read Health and Fitness Magazine. We're distributed in
You got it.
300 locations throughout Memphis, Shelby County, and northern Mississippi. Kroger, fitness gyms.
Read us online.
Read us online.
If somebody
Restaurants.
wants to turn somebody in for you
Yeah,
to possibly
send me an email.
interview, how
Yeah.
do they get a hold of you guys?
Well, they can email.
It's in the front of the magazine.
Okay.
Okay.
Our email addresses and our phone numbers, and online, memphishealthandfitness.com. You can email me,
What's
Hailey.
your email?
Hailey,
All right.
at memphishealthandfitness.com.
Okay.
Nice.
Hailey.
Okay. Got it.
Well, great. This has been a lot of fun.
Awesome.
It
Yeah.
has.
We appreciate y'all coming
Should we
out.
do a CrossFit
thank
workout
you.
since we're here?
Yeah.
Yeah,
we
that's-
came all
we're-
the
Should
way.
do a
We're gonna
one-arm
do that.
push-up,
We
or
The
You have to
other
come to
end
my
of the
gym.
shop is like a gauntlet.
Okay.
It's an
Okay.
obstacle course.
I brought my tennis shoes. I thought they're going to make me work out.
Well, we're out in the country, so you got to run faster than the neighborhood dogs.
there was a German Shepherd
Good way to train.
that went across the street today that ran out in front of my car that was as large of an animal as I've seen. It was the size of a Shetland pony.
Oh my
It
god.
ran out, and I thought that a cow had gotten loose. So, yeah, you got to run faster around here.
I
Well,
like
that's
your
a
little
good
dog.
way.
I like your little dog,
Oh,
Charlie.
thank you, Charlie. Yeah,
He's sweet. You know, it's Dog Appreciation Day today.
Aw.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Haley, should you show them your one arm push up?
Okay. Stand back.
Okay.
Yeah, I can do one.
Haley's like, if you want to take her out and win money, she can do pull ups like a man.
Bar trick.
You can say
Chin ups.
chin-ups.
There's
You
a
can say
difference.
she can do chin ups, and a guy goes, no, she can't. This one can do
I
it.
can do them.
So we win
That's fun.
any
We
bar
win.
games.
Any dance contest. Any dance
Yeah.
contest. So.
Yeah.
I had a friend of mine that had one of those fainting goats,
Oh, yeah.
and he would take that to the bar for drinks. He would let people faint his goat if they
That's
bought him a
I
beer.
know.
It's brilliant.
It's a brilliant idea.
Yeah.
He's a
Bless
brilliant
its
man.
heart. I've seen those on YouTube.
You talking about
Yeah.
the goat or the guy?
The
that-
goat, the goat.
Yeah.
Both of them need their hearts blessed.
My wife still doesn't believe that there is a such thing as a fainting goat.
There is.
Oh,
I've
I
seen
know.
those.
I keep telling her, and she's like, "Stop saying that."
I'm going to buy you one. Put it in your backyard.
Yeah.
Well, I have a question. What's your theory on lift heavy, run long?
I don't know that we have a theory on lift heavy, run long, other than Vaughn started it. And, you know, I was saying earlier about picking a side. Like, everybody has to be, you either CrossFit or you run, but you can't do both.
Right.
Everybody thinks that there's that's a bad mix.
Right.
And you have to pick a camp and you can't enjoy both. And I've met so many people through running and through CrossFitting that enhanced my life in so many ways that I felt like I want everybody playing in the same sandbox.
Yeah.
Like this should be fun. There's so much stuff that we can do with our base of fitness from CrossFit, and there's so many things that you can do with your base of fitness through running that allows you to sign up for just about anything.
It would seem like CrossFit would be so great to train you for running, build those hams and glutes and
Well, that's
injury.
just to real quick tell the story. That's where this came from. This whole idea is when I ran my first. I signed up for CrossFit and I was fat and out of shape, and then I ran a half marathon. Then I ran my first marathon, and then one of my coaches was like, "Hey, you need to go run this 50-mile race," and I was like, "You're kind of crazy." And then so I went and ran a 30-mile race, and I was like, "Okay, maybe I can do that." But I never trained running. I was always just training in CrossFit, and I would run and I would run like 2 or 3 times a week. And so that's how I knew training. I lifted weights, I did strength and conditioning, and I ran a few times a week at very low mileage. And I never knew any other way. And so when I was at my first 50K, I was just at the starting line, like looking around, and I was like, I was getting all fired up like I would if I was going to like go squat heavy or something. I was like, yeah, I was getting all pumped up, and I was looking around like everybody's just kind of chill and like skinny. And, like they probably think I'm a weirdo. And then I started thinking like, I wonder if anybody here can deadlift 400 pounds. Because I had recently PR'd my deadlift or something.
Wow.
And so I was like, I bet none of them can,
Yeah.
And so then I was running that race just thinking about it. And I was like, I bet you that's a thing, that would be a cool thing to do. What should I call it? And so I went through this whole process and was like, lift heavy, run long.
Yeah.
That's what it should be called.
All right. I like
So
it.
that's why that thing
I love
came
it.
about.
I think that's great.
And he started a club. He started a 50-mile 400 deadlift club for people that have ran a 50-mile race and can deadlift 400 pounds.
Oh.
Which
And
is
so
what
then people started calling and or emailing and like, hey, I want to be in your club. And then Wilson came along and just like blew the whole thing up, and now it's
In a good way.
now,
So
now it's in a good way.
Not literally.
Yeah. Skyrocketed.
I need
So-
to try my 300 deadlift so I can get in the club.
you can do that anytime that you want. Like you've been able to deadlift 300 pounds for 2
Just
years
take the
now and
sticker.
just don't want to do it.
I'm scared.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, thanks y'all for coming out.
Thank
Thank
you for
you.
having us.
Yeah, this has been awesome. Y'all been
Yeah.
great guests, really.
Thank you.
Very much.
So, and best of luck with your magazine. I think that is a
Yeah, that's
that is
awesome.
an awesome concept, and I love hearing the story behind it. And
Oh, thank
keep
you
doing
so
great
much.
For
things.
sure.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. Really appreciate it.
LHRL number 60 is in the books.
Boom.
Peace out.